One of the things that I know bothers us a lot, and makes us make life-changing and life-altering decisions is betrayal.
Betrayal is a very stressful situation because the place that was once safe is no longer safe. So you're always scanning your environment.
So there's a hypervigilance thing that comes about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so subconsciously, of course, you don't wake up in the morning thinking this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But just imagine not being able to focus or not being able to concentrate. That's of course going to impact your work or your business or your studies.
Yeah.
In betrayal, you all of a sudden start doubting yourself. You doubt your reality, you feel like, how could this have happened to me? How did I not see this? Can I even trust myself? Who was I? So there needs to be a whole rebuilding of who you are.
Yeah.
If you're being gaslit, if the person says, oh, but the reason I cheated was because you this.
Now they're making it about you.
Yeah.
So you made me do it.
Yeah. Run.
I like that. Simple instruction.
Yeah.
Run.
But that's easier said than done.
I know.
Still, it's very hard for you to heal in a situation where nothing changes. It's very hard to heal when you still expect something from that relationship. You will never be 100% betrayal proof because you cannot control other people. Yeah. But realizing that you can't control other people, and maybe also realizing where you've betrayed yourself and making that a priority, that to not betray yourself, to not fool yourself.
Hello, everybody. Good to have you back. And this is just a continuation of the series that we're having on connecting generations, conversations that will help us manage our wellness in the workplace. One of the things that I know bothers us a lot, and makes us make life-changing and life-altering decisions is betrayal. I have a good friend of mine in studio with us today who's going to be helping us just think through how to manage betrayal and, even just come back from it for the sake of our wellness. So Ingrid, very, very good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. Please tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much, Shalom. So great to be here. Thank you for the invitation to talk about a topic that maybe we don't talk about enough, but that really affects us. So my name is Ingrid Kruiter. I am a life coach, leadership coach, and also a post-betrayal transformation coach. Now I know even yourself maybe or your listeners, you are like, post-betrayal? Does that even exist?
Yeah.
I also found out the hard way. Life has its ways to, get you on different paths.
Yeah.
So one of the things I do is support people that have gone through a betrayal and a betrayal that's really affected them. This can be a betrayal in the workplace or in your relationship or in families or in friendships or institutional. And supporting people to reclaim their power.
Exactly.
After betrayal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
How do we reclaim that power? Yeah. Okay. So let's start with betrayal. The basic thing I see is about lying. Why do we lie?
Yeah.
Let's start with just why do we lie?
We could do a whole podcast on why do we lie.
Honestly. Give me 2 points. Why do we actually lie?
I feel like it depends. The people's motivations for lying might be different. We might not even always find out exactly why someone is lying. Someone might not even know exactly themselves why they're lying. Often because the truth might be too uncomfortable, too difficult, or something that will, for the person who's lying, telling the truth will have consequences and they're not ready to face the consequences.
Yeah.
But you could, as I said, you could talk a whole podcast about why people lie and what happened maybe in their upbringing or what examples they had or what happened in childhood, why they're pushing people away. There's a lot of reasons.
Believe you me, I'll take you up on that one and we'll have a full conversation on that. But what are some things that you see, common aspects about betrayal?
Yeah,
that we would need to sort of like note.
Okay, so betrayal, I think for starters, often when we speak about betrayal, we think about infidelity.
Yes.
Think about cheating in romantic relationships. That's maybe the one that we hear about most.
And we handle most.
And we maybe handle most as well. But betrayal also can happen in other areas of life. So I've spoken to also very many people who've had betrayal in friendships, in families, in the workplace, or in a business, your business partner or your boss at work, or a family betrayal. Sometimes, for example, after someone comes to pass, and then there is all kinds of betrayals around
revelations.
Or revelations that, or you find out that who you thought was your parent is not your parent. Those are devastating types of betrayals. So I think the one thing is that there are very many types of betrayals. Now, also, they hit us differently. I don't know about you, but in my life, I've had betrayal in the workplace. I've had a betrayal in friendships. I've had betrayal in romantic relationships, and not all of them hit as hard.
Okay.
But it's not up to me to say, oh, this betrayal in relationship is worse than a betrayal in family. Maybe the betrayal in relationship was worse to me, but that doesn't mean that that's true for someone else.
For me.
So as long as you feel like, I've had this experience and I'm stuck with it, right? So some experiences you move on. You're angry, you're annoyed, you're disappointed, but it doesn't stay with you. You move on from it. Others stay with you and you feel like you're stuck with it. And often that has something to do about how invested were you? Or maybe this was supposed to be your safe place, in an intimate relationship or in your family, and you now don't feel safe anymore. Or this was the person you were really supposed to trust for your future. This was your business partner and you were building something together. So kind of like how invested you were with maybe your time, your resources, your heart. If a betrayal happens in those spaces, they can hit harder than in other spaces. But it's not the same for everybody. Then another thing about betrayal, I think, which is important to mention, is there is something like betrayal trauma. There is also something like betrayal symptoms and even post-betrayal syndrome. So which means that the aftermath or the effects that we might be dealing with after having experienced a betrayal are actually so common that we've even coined the term post-betrayal syndrome, post-betrayal symptoms. And I'll explain a little bit about those. But I want to mention this now because very often people feel like I'm the only one. Nobody understands this. I'm crazy for feeling what I'm feeling, or I'm crazy for the emotions that I'm having. And I just, as we're starting this podcast, I want to reassure anybody who's listening, you're having a very normal response to what is an abnormal situation, actually. And the real, the betrayal trauma is kind of different from other types of trauma. And mainly, not to say, it's better or worse or whatever, like any type of trauma, of course, is terrible. What happens with betrayal trauma, which is different from other traumas, is that one, it's not just your present that has changed or your future. With other traumas, if you've lost somebody that was very dear to you, or, you were in an accident, you lost your health, for example, your past doesn't change.
Your future changes.
Your future changes and your present. But with betrayal, all of a sudden your past doesn't make sense anymore. So that is such a confusing situation to be in. Like, what was that? Who was this? Who was I? So there is a lot of confusion and just trying to make sense of things, and so many questions that you might not necessarily have in other types of betrayal. Not to say that, those are better or worse. The other thing that often happens, not for everybody, but for a lot of people, is it's not just your context that changed. It's even you that changed. You feel like different about yourself. Let's say if someone that's dear to you has passed away, you don't start doubting yourself because of it.
They have passed away.
They've passed away, and it's terrible, and you'll probably, carry that grief with you for the rest of your life. So, I'm not undermining that at all. But in betrayal, you all of a sudden start doubting yourself. You doubt your reality. You feel like, how could this have happened to me? How did I not see this? Can I even trust myself? Who was I? So there needs to be a whole rebuilding of who you are.
Yeah.
Which is usually not the case in other terrible situations.
And I like what you're saying, because you are rebuilding with a schema of something that you're now doubting.
Yeah.
So you are being forced to rebuild something that may need to be a new build in this old container because you have lived this life. Yeah. So how does somebody go about that?
Yeah, it's obviously confusing.
Yes.
And it takes time. Fortunately, we've also learned, I've done a certification with the Post-Betrayal Transformation Institute, who have really done like research into this, worked with a lot of people, that it is possible, but you go through stages.
Yes.
So of course, your first reaction is just disbelief, it's like the rug is being pulled underneath your feet. You're just falling. You can't believe what is happening. And then maybe if you're, if you say, okay, like I want to start working on this, what you can do is to check maybe where in this context, where in this situation had you lost yourself? Because that's what's very often happens. Not in every situation, but what I've noticed with the people I've worked with and also in the PBT Institute, the people they've worked with, is yes, there was a betrayal. Yes, somebody lied to me, was cheated on me, stole from me, whatsoever, wasn't being honest. But was I fully authentic in that situation myself? Not to say that you lied or hid or did whatever, but very often we feel like, oh, I actually shrunk myself in this situation.
Yeah.
I knew this relationship wasn't.
But I held myself back.
I didn't speak up, and I became maybe an even smaller version of myself, or the version that always tried to keep the peace or always tried to keep other people happy. Again, this is not always the case, but a lot of people have it happens. So then you now need to work on, and this is not to blame you. Yes. This is not to say, oh, well, so I deserved it. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Whatever your relationship was at the workplace, in your business, with your relationship, your intimate relationship, if something wasn't right in that relationship, there's always another way of going about it.
Yeah.
And if someone decides to go behind your back and to lie to you or to cheat on you, that's really up to them. You're not to blame.
Yeah.
However, you can, in hindsight, now see that maybe the way I showed up for myself even wasn't how maybe I used to show up or how I know myself. So now all of a sudden this betrayal, which I'm not going to deny the pain that it can cause. It's painful, but it can bring you an opportunity.
Okay.
It can bring you an opportunity to really look at, who am I?
Yeah.
And what do I want? But it needs also time, because that's not on your mind the first day. Absolutely not.
Now I need to work on it.
It's chaos. You're in pain. You're angry. You have all these emotions. And if I would then come to you and say, oh, you know what? This has happened for a reason. You're probably going to send me straight out of the door.
Yeah.
Because you also need to be angry. You need to be sad. You need to grieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So help us walk that journey.
Yeah.
And I know, because betrayal is very specific, how you feel it and how you experience it is not the way I'll do it.
Of course.
We can have some general sort of guidance, right?
Yeah.
What are some unhealthy outcomes that would come about when we don't handle our reaction to the betrayal in a healthy way?
Yeah.
And how can we protect ourselves from going off on a trajectory that may end up causing more pain? Yeah.
Very good question. Thank you. I think I almost want to go back to the betrayal symptoms.
Let's go back.
Right? Because that's that, like, if the betrayal symptoms stay and continue with you, I think we can even already imagine what can happen.
Okay.
So some of the betrayal symptoms can be, your emotions, of course, your anger, your sadness. And again, there's time and place for that. You really have to go through that. You have to feel it to heal it. So that's okay. The thing is, we don't want to be forever stuck with them.
Yeah.
But imagine always being triggered. Imagine carrying that sadness for years. Imagine carrying that anger for years. There's obviously stories of people who, if you don't do the healing, 40 years later, they will still be angry.
Yeah.
And they can still feel it at the person that betrayed them all this many years ago. And you get stuck in your story. You get maybe stuck in victimhood. You can get stuck in, well, if it wasn't for the betrayal, my life would be different. So always blaming the other person. Yeah. Again, not to say that they don't, they're not to blame, but eventually you're the only one that can rebuild your life, right? Other symptoms of betrayal is lack of concentration, lack of focus. Because of course, there's all this rumination going on. Betrayal is a very stressful situation because the place that was once safe is no longer safe. So you're always scanning your environment.
So there's a hypervigilance thing that comes about.
Exactly. Yeah. And so subconsciously, of course, you don't wake up in the morning thinking this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. But just imagine not being able to focus or not being able to concentrate. That's, of course, going to impact your work or your business or your studies. Yeah. Always being hypervigilant, always expecting someone to, pull a leg or to pull that rug underneath you. You're not going to be very trusting. It might be very hard to build relationships. And in our life, we do need relationships. Yeah. We are solitary, or we're not solitary beings, we need to live with other people. So it might make us really lonely. Okay. Adding additional stress. It might, maybe even in the workplace, for example, now that I don't trust anybody anymore, I keep my ideas to myself. Therefore, you don't progress. The organization itself doesn't benefit. But you yourself also don't benefit. Growing. Or maybe because you don't trust, you start becoming very micromanaging. Maybe you're a leader of a team, but something once happened in your team, and now you don't trust anybody anymore, and now you're always on their neck. That's not creating a very workable situation for your team. Yeah. So it can lead to so many, over the long term, it can lead to so many things that will now affect your life. It can affect your health, because imagine being always in that hypervigilant state. Yeah. It can really do a lot of damage to your health. That's why we see people have, weight issues, weight gain or weight loss, hair issues. Actually falling off or becoming all frizzy and things. Yes. Yeah. Or stiffness or back pain or not immediately after, but over the body eventually will tell you what you're carrying. The body keeps the score. Yeah. Yeah. So physically it can impact you. Emotionally, imagine just always carrying that anxiety or that anger. Financially, as we said, like if it affects you in the workplace or in your business, that is also going to affect your finances eventually. The relationships you're building, your happiness. Yeah. Your joy and your happiness. Yeah. So now, how do you then, you see, because now those are the symptoms. Now we are seeing what it's looking like. Yeah. How can somebody then, and now I guess this is post-betrayal, just sort of like veer away from that negative trajectory? Yeah, because of course we share this, and I like to share this as well for people to know, I'm not the only one. Yes. Or like, oh my gosh, that's maybe where some of these physical things. Even as you're speaking, I'm imagining some of the people we struggle with at work. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean they are bad people. What are they going through? There could be something that they are going through that makes them then react and behave that way to us. Yeah. And that something could have happened a long time ago. And they're just not aware. Yeah. It's not even that it's always the immediate betrayal. It can even be past betrayal. 10, 20 years ago, something could have happened and you're still kind of carrying it. Again, not in all cases, but sometimes that could be why you're so distrusting. Or, why you doubt yourself because you thought you knew this person. This person had a whole other life maybe outside of you that you did not know about. So you're like, can I even trust anybody? Can I trust myself? Yeah. So you self-doubt. So there's a lot of things in a lot of ways of how it impacts you. So I want to share that just for people to realize I'm not alone.
Yes.
and I'm not crazy. So yes, you're not alone and you're not crazy. So, but of course we don't want you to be stuck there.
Yes.
And that's what happens. People get stuck in a certain place where the betrayal is not as immediate anymore. It has happened. You kind of found your footing again.
Yeah.
You're okay, but you're not really okay.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of us get stuck because we're like, we're fine. And we still have this person to blame for how our life is at the moment.
And therefore we'll be okay.
And we'll be fine, but really not fine.
It's their fault.
So I think what is important for us, if we, even if you're listening and you're like, whoa, maybe that's something I'm dealing with, is to become aware. Like, oh yeah, maybe there was that situation. And maybe I'm still carrying this with me. Yeah. And to become aware, to allow yourself to be angry. You're allowed to be angry. Something happened that was not right. So maybe if you're one of those people that always suppresses anger, you can allow yourself to be angry.
Yes.
You can allow yourself to be sad. Allow yourself to grieve, because that's what we often also don't do, right? It's oh, well, but it was in the workplace and I didn't, it wasn't that bad. But yeah, your dream or your present or whatever situation changed. You lost it and you're allowed to grieve that.
Yeah.
And then it's important to start moving away from why did they do this? How could they have done this? Why did this happen to me? And to go to questions like, what do I need today? What do I want for my life? How am I going to recreate my life?
Yeah.
What are my dreams? And sure, some of those could have been affected. Maybe you even lost money during that situation. So now I can sit for the next 20 years complaining about how I lost money, or I can say, if I want money to earn money, how am I going to do that? What is my first step?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you beat yourself up when you ruminate. It's going to happen. It's okay. Again, you don't want to be stuck there. So always bringing yourself back to you. And Byron Katie, the famous, is also a coach, and yes, he has a beautiful quote for that. Or is it a quote? A nice way of saying it. It's like, because if you're always wondering why this person did what they did and how they could have done it, you're actually living in their head. You're trying to think for them. You're trying to live life for them.
Yeah.
But who's in your head while you do all that?
Yeah.
And they're probably, in some cases, they might not even worry about it.
In many cases, yeah.
And so you're doing all these thinking.
Yes.
On their behalf.
Wondering why they did what they did. What were they thinking? What could they have done?
Yeah.
And how about the next question that comes? What could I have done?
What could I have done?
Yeah.
To avoid the betrayal.
Yes. Is there anything you can do to avoid?
If people want to betray you, they will betray you.
And that's the thing I emphasized. Because people think that they can then do something to stop somebody from being who they actually are.
Yeah.
Right? I know there's the boundaries that we can have. So therefore, learn how to choose certain friends properly, do due diligence before bringing in partners. There is that part.
Yeah.
But if somebody is going to betray you, it's not about you.
Yeah. It's their choice.
It is really their choice.
And back to almost what we mentioned about lying. Why do people do the things they do?
Yeah.
Yes, we can start understanding. Many of us, including myself, we go into the whole rabbit hole of researching, watching all the reels on Instagram about
how to identify
it, about narcissism, about avoidant attachment, you name it. We will try to understand, maybe even porn addiction, sex addiction. We will try to look for everything to understand this person.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but often this person is not even doing that. If they're also very genuine about wanting to understand themselves, then maybe we also get to understand it a little bit. But we might not fully understand. They might not even fully understand why they did what they did, right? And so if we spend so much of our energy on trying to understand, Whereas that energy would be so well used on
understanding
ourselves.
Okay.
So back to your question, I don't think we can necessarily fully 100% be betrayal proof.
Mm-hmm.
That's also not what I do in my coaching, right? I don't make you betrayal proof.
Mm-hmm.
But you might now see the signs earlier.
Uh-huh.
Or, we spoke about the self-betrayal that often happens,
Yes.
you might be more showing up more authentic to yourself, and you might be less shrinking yourself. And then you might be quicker to say, this situation is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
This new relationship or this new workplace, this is actually not healthy for me.
Mm-hmm.
So you might now be the one that makes changes earlier, before you're now
getting to the point of getting hurt.
Getting hurt.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, trying to run away before you get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
We have beautiful experience and we have less beautiful experience.
Yes.
So it's not necessarily about, not allowing someone to make any mistakes anymore, but you'll be more true to yourself. And so you will also, be more clear about what you tolerate and what you don't tolerate.
Okay.
And you probably listen to your gut more.
Yeah. So I like that, because then in comes a second chance. How do you know when you should give a second chance and when you should totally just walk away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot decide that for someone. There is no clear handbook of when do you go for a second chance. Mm-hmm. It might depend a lot on what's at stake for you as well, especially when you speak intimate relationships, of course. Like, there might be children, there might be shared property, there might be all kinds of things. Mm. The person might be very apologetic, might be very sorry, and you want to give them another chance. Mm-hmm. Now, what has happened in betrayal is there was a huge violation of trust. Mm-hmm. There was trust, and Debbie Silber from the Post-Betrayal Transformation Institute has a very nice analogy for this. You basically, when you start a relationship, you start building trust.
Yes.
It's like a brick by brick by brick, and sometimes a brick is taken out, and then maybe you build a nice wall of trust. Mm-hmm. With a betrayal, that wall just shatters. There's nothing left, right? Because all that trust that you built is gone. Mm-hmm. What often happens is that I'm so devastated. I'm so I don't know what to do with this. I'm so anxious. I'm so what? I will start rebuilding that wall. Mm-hmm. Whereas it's the other person that made it crash.
Yeah.
So this other person, if we're going to give them a chance, if we're considering giving them a chance, if the situation is there that we can give them a second chance, they have to be very, very determined about building that trust again, brick by brick. Not just by saying, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Not just by saying,
words versus actions.
Words versus just words are not going to cut it.
Yeah.
But of course, when we're in that situation, we're so full of pain and we are so afraid maybe of change, we will take anything. We will take the words. So it's actually good to have a bit of time, for yourself and say, what do I really need as well? So if you're being gaslit, if the person says, but the reason I cheated was because you... this and this.
Now they're making it about you.
Yeah.
So you made me do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Run.
I like that. Simple instruction.
Yeah.
Run.
But that's easier said than done.
I know.
Still,
Because you see, you're running, but there's those things that are tying you back.
Of course.
There's several things that could be holding you back. There's actually somewhere I read a quote that said, I'm not sure whether I'll get it exactly right, but it says, you cannot talk your way back into a situation that you behaved your way out of.
Yeah.
Right? So if I behaved a certain way and therefore lost that trust with you, I can't then talk my way back. I've got to behave my way back into that space. And I really love the analogy that you have given of here was a wall that we had built together.
Yeah.
And, there was something that had come up and you have gone and broken it down, or I'm the one who's betraying you in this case, and I have broken it.
Yeah.
I can't then expect you to be the one to rebuild it because I participated in breaking it down.
Of course, what you also don't want is to go back to the place that was.
Yes.
So sure, I might also have to change as the person who was betrayed.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to go back to the exact same relationship, because then what guarantee do I have that this won't happen again? So something needs to change. And I also, because, my whole sense of self has been shattered, so I also get the opportunity to change myself.
Yeah.
But if the person that betrayed me is not at all committed to doing any changes on their behalf, maybe they realize that the way they were acting up, or why they couldn't speak the truth, or what led them to maybe look for validation outside, or whatever that is. If they're like, maybe this has something to do with, stuff that happened, and I want to explore that. I want to discover, I want to heal from maybe older wounds, because it could be older wounds that have caused that. And this person goes maybe to a therapist, to a coach, to work on that. You can be like, okay, someone is at least trying to do something. Still not a guarantee. And also you might well ask yourself the question, do I want to wait for that? Because for somebody to change, it can take...
It's going to take time.
You haven't tried changing yourself. It can take time.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah. So, do I want to wait for that? Am I going to, still be here? That is a valid question, but I don't have the answer for you, right? And the answer is also going to be different for different people. They will also need to learn about betrayal trauma and understanding what you're going through. Because if they're going to be like, oh, why are we still talking about this? I thought we were over with this. They have to realize that your system is not yet safe with them. And so you might have to bring stuff up. So to both work on yourself, but maybe also even work on something together. So the words alone are not enough. Actions. There have to be action. And actions cannot just be, oh, I've bought you something nice. No. I need to be able to tell you what I also need from you to feel safer. Again, you can then say, I'm not able to do that. Or I don't want to do that. Or maybe I want a different type of relationship. Can we both agree on a different type of relationship? But communication. And then figuring out if you can find a way forward. But also what could happen, both of you could change so much in this process that actually you feel like, whoa, we are now having a much stronger relationship than we used to have. Or the way we've evolved through this situation, actually we're not compatible anymore. And that's also okay. So the right and there's no clear-cut answer.
There can't be in such situations, because it's very woven into how we relate with each other. But what has ego got to do with it? And how does ego affect how we react to a betrayal? And for this, help us see it from the betrayed and the betrayer. I don't know whether, as a betrayal coach, by the way, you do work with betrayers, if there's something like that. The person who has betrayed somebody, do they come to you for help?
They don't come so much, but they could. Because I always, as a coach, I wouldn't be a coach if I didn't believe that people can change, right? So I believe people can change. You could have done something and, you could be very sorry for that. And you're really willing to change, work on that and change. I am more than happy to work with you. If the only reason you're coming to coaching or therapy is to not lose what you had,
that's a wrong
but not really because you genuinely feel like a change is needed. It's a bit about intentions, right? So, but if you really feel like, yes, I've just messed up. Maybe you've even not maintained the relationship. Maybe your partner left, but you're like, this is not going to happen again. Yes, we can definitely work with that.
You can work with that person. Okay, so how does ego then come?
Well, obviously, if you're being betrayed, your ego has probably gotten quite a dent. You start doubting yourself. You feel like I was not good enough, like the other person maybe was better, or I was so stupid for not seeing that, my business partner was heading off with my ideas or my money or what. That could get quite a dent. Again, I want to repeat, it's not your fault. So you're not to blame. So really that dent is not needed, but that's what often happens, right? So you start doubting yourself. You wonder why you were so stupid. Maybe even in the aftermath of betrayal, with all the things that are coming up for you, the rumination, the triggers, the what, you're like, my gosh, am I crazy? So obviously it's going to impact how you feel about
how you
yourself.
feel, and also how you respond, even to the healing journey, I think. Okay.
So you do get a chance again in steps to also work on that. For the betrayer, of course, what role played ego in the betraying could be different for different people again. Sometimes it's people who just maybe even just very hurt and are looking for validation everywhere,
and therefore they want to boost their ego or keep it at a certain space.
Looking for validation. Other times it could just be pure entitlement. So different way. Now, of course, you probably held it all together. You had all these different things happening and nobody knew. And you were the good guy everywhere or the good girl everywhere.
And then suddenly.
And then people find out. And now your partner, your husband or wife or whatever, if you're talking about intimate relationship, for example, is not so happy with you anymore. Or maybe even your children are seeing you in a different light. So now your
image has changed.
Your image has also changed. And then what you often see is a bit of fighting that on the side of the betrayer, and finding it very hard to deal with that. Because maybe I was even running away from that. And now I have to deal with the fact that I've hurt people.
Okay.
And people don't trust me. And
it can be painful.
It can be painful.
Okay.
It can be painful.
So I'm sure you've worked with both men and women.
Yeah.
What are the dynamics between the two in terms of managing betrayal? And do you have maintaining confidentiality, of course, some case studies that we can learn from? In how that journey has been.
Indeed worked with both men and women. I do feel that what the people that do come to me are more often women than men, and maybe also because it's a little bit more accepted to talk about it. Men still tend to hold things to themselves, which it's not needed. If you're a guy or a man going through something like this, it really helps to walk that journey together. And they can get us stuck. They can get us stuck as women do, maybe slightly in different ways, but it's also very personal, right? So it's even hard to say, oh, women do this and men do that. It so depends on the nature of the betrayal and what place it in where it took place. But I've worked, I have worked with various men as well. For example, in business betrayal. Business betrayal, unfortunately, also happens a lot. Happens a lot where maybe you have business partners or it's your business, and you had an accountant that you fully trusted, and maybe it was your accountant for all these years, or a business partner, you were building this business, you're building this dream together. And then something happens and maybe money is stolen or gets lost or whatsoever. And so I almost think like it's a similar response to it, because this is the client I also once had. And this gentleman was like, we've sorted out all the money that was, that's solved. Now the financial bit is solved. It's okay. We, the KRA, whatever, all the issues are cleared again. We're in the black books again. We're not in the red books. But I'm not okay. Because I feel like I've even lost the joy in the business that I had. I don't trust people anymore. Like, do I have to now be in the business the whole time? Can it even grow? Do I even want to grow it? So there was a lot, and doubting himself, because how could I have been so stupid to not have seen this? And so again, it's not you being stupid. It's you being trusting in a relationship where you thought you had agreed on something. And that's not stupid. That's not stupid, right? So he was really at a place where it's like, I don't know. I don't know what I want with this business. I don't even know if I still want this business. And, we worked together for a bit. And just after a few sessions, it's just completely reclaimed the joy, reclaimed the courage, reclaimed how he knew himself from before.
Yeah.
Even.
Uh-huh.
Like, I can do things. And all of a sudden, just because somebody has done this to me and makes mistakes, that doesn't mean I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And that's so often what happens, right? Somebody does something to us, really hurts us. We now start doubting ourselves, whereas they are not even doubting themselves. They're just moving on.
Going on as though
and we've just given our whole, what we know ourselves to be, our amazingness, our courage, our, sense of self. We've put it in a backpack and we've given it to them.
Yeah.
And they don't even know they're carrying it.
Uh-huh.
But now we're like, that's a loss.
Yeah.
Because someone else made a mistake. Or did something intentional.
Yeah.
What that doesn't say anything about us, but of course it affects us too. So to help someone reclaim that power, that authenticity, that courage, that strength. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I will. To a great extent.
A little tangent here.
to a great extent you have.
Yeah.
I also would like to ask, because there's people listening to this.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, I know somebody who has been betrayed.
Yeah.
I'm not a coach.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was anything like betrayal trauma.
Yeah.
I don't even know anything about post-betrayal syndrome. But I'm listening to you and seeing some characteristics that I may have seen in a friend, in a relative, in a close, just somebody close, in a colleague.
Yeah.
How can that person help? How can we, without the training, help people who have gone through betrayal? Yeah.
I think maybe sharing resources like this podcast.
Yes.
Please share the podcast with them so that at least they know I'm not alone and I'm not crazy, because I think that's already a good reassurance to have. Mm-hmm. Also, validating the experience. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think too often or too quickly we want people to move on.
Yeah.
Whereas people's systems are just not yet ready to move on. So hold that space. But there's a balance there, right? So we want to hold space, but we also don't want our friends to forever being stuck in victim.
Yeah.
So I think encouraging them also to seek support, to seek support from someone who has the tools and who has the knowledge can also be helpful.
Yeah.
There are other resources out there, on the internet on how to heal from betrayal. But doing it with someone, I think, is because then you can really go into your specific situation, because every situation is different. Every person is different. Yeah. Every person deals differently with it. The strategies are different. Yeah, hold space, tell them they're not crazy, asking them maybe what they need. Not, if someone still talks about it a year later, not saying, oh, you should be over it by now, because you shoot nothing.
There's no you should.
But also encouraging them to maybe do the work, because it would be so unfortunate if you do get stuck for so long. Yeah. There is still, no matter what age you are, there's still so much life left, and you'd want it, to be. Yeah. Reclaiming yourself, your authenticity, your power, your joy, and everything. You don't want to be stuck in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So holding space, what I'm hearing is holding space also includes challenging a little. Challenging from the point of encouragement.
Yeah, but I think also not on day one.
No, not on day one.
Or not even in not even on month one, probably.
It's to be actually sensitive to the journey somebody is going through, to be sensitive. I like what you mentioned at the beginning about how invested somebody was in the relationship. Yeah. How many years had I put in? How much of my resources had I put in? And the resource can be time. It can be energy, money,
Or how much of my identity
that was woven into that.
So it's sometimes not even, it sometimes can be a relationship that was very short. Yeah. But it can really
your full identity was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, now holding space then. So this is what I want to clarify for you listeners.
Yeah.
Holding space is not about time. It's about being aware of what your person is going through and then supporting them through it. And I think it's really important to actually ask, what do you need?
Yeah.
Ask the person what they need. I know betrayal may mean that they may not even be able to articulate it, but ask anyway.
Yeah.
Right? How can somebody start learning or start getting comfortable with articulating what they need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Practice.
Practice.
A lot of these things are practice. And also if you're trying to support someone, I think, and you're a coach as well, as coaches, I think we also always emphasize we don't have to fix. So you don't have to fix your friend.
Yes. Holding space is not fixing. Holding space is not about time.
Yeah. Exactly. Sorry, your question?
Yeah. No, basically how to go about, we're just clarifying that holding space is not any of all of those things.
Yeah.
Right? So it wasn't even a question as much as a comment.
Yeah.
That we need to be aware.
Yeah. And how
of
do
ourselves and of the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were asking also about how do you articulate?
Yes.
This?
Yeah, actually get to the place of articulating.
What might help, this again depends per person, is maybe starting to write it down. Yeah. If journaling maybe is your thing, starting to write it, and it doesn't have to be perfect because nobody needs to see it, right? What worked for myself, because sometimes, especially in the immediate aftermath of betrayal, there is so much that's going on that even writing seems like don't even
hard.
There's too much.
What do you even say?
And it can't come out as quickly as that the thoughts are coming. So what I did is initially I sent voice notes to friends. At one point I started sending voice notes to myself just to get it out of my system.
I like those as practical tips.
Yeah. Just
because do just a thing.
Yeah.
Talk, because it needs to get out of your brain.
Yeah. And with a coach, you it's not a class. You don't have to be, articulating your feelings perfectly and score an A. Yeah. It's whatever is coming up. It's okay. It's messy. It's gonna be messy, and it's gonna feel like I'm angry and I'm confused, and I am angry with this person. I never want to see this person again. I still love this person. I want us to be. It's going to be all of that.
Yeah.
Or I will never work with this person again. And the next moment it's like, oh well, maybe I should give him another chance. Like all those
are happening.
Messiness is going to happen. So I don't even expect you to articulate it all so beautifully. It's messy.
Yeah.
And it's allowed to be messy.
So accept the mess. Embrace the messiness of it all.
Yeah.
But most important is express yourself somehow.
Yeah, I think so.
I like that you've talked about voice notes to friends, to yourself. You've talked about writing. Yeah. I know something else that happens is just expressing yourself physically. Like the physical exercise can also help. Just at least remove the pressure. Yeah. All that is inside of you that's building up.
I love that you've mentioned that. Because don't underestimate the power of still moving.
Yes.
And initially, because for me, people might know I love going out, outdoors, cycling, hiking, whatever. And your first bike ride or your first walk or your head is still going to be full. You're not going to enjoy it even. You're just going to be full with all the rumination, but continue showing up. Continue just showing up. And at one point, that will start feeling lighter and other thoughts will come in. So don't stop things because you don't feel like them.
Yeah.
Keep showing up. Yeah. Move your body.
I like that you mentioned that. Don't stop things. What if the things that you enjoyed doing are intertwined with the person who betrayed you? Yeah. Like you used to cycle together, you used to hike together, you used to go to the gym together. Yeah. What happens in that space? Those are things I still like, but they're also bringing back the memory of the betrayal. Yeah. So just mention a little bit about what happens there.
What I've noticed, and also from the work that PBT has done, especially if you're not rebuilding, let's say maybe, you were fired from your job or, you fired your accountant or the person that betrayed you left with somebody else or you decided to leave. So if you're not rebuilding with the person and you're still in your healing journey, continuing to see this person in all those spaces can be very hard for your healing process. Like if you can go no contact, that can really help. It's not always possible.
Yes.
Because you might also have children together or you might still stay at the workplace. If you can't, it makes it harder, but not impossible, right? But in this case of the gym, of your outdoor hobbies or other things, is there a way for you to maybe change that a little bit? Maybe find different friends, and not so that you're defeated. Because also you don't need to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's what some of us also do. Right? Think, oh no, but I'll still go to the same gym and I'll prove that it doesn't.
Yeah.
You don't have to
prove I'm moved on.
Yeah. Because maybe if you're honest to yourself and it's still hurting you, move to a different gym for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not, or she's not. I know, but this is gonna might help your healing. Yeah. Again, it's different for different people, right? But having to continue to interact. And this is maybe also back to, when do you give someone a second chance? When do you give your job a second chance? When do you give your business partner a second chance?
Your romantic partner.
It's very hard for you to heal in a situation where nothing changes.
It is very hard for you to heal in a situation where nothing changes. Okay.
Yeah. So if nothing changes, if the workplace stays the same, people say, oh, we were sorry, it won't happen again. But no other things have changed in maybe accountability systems, or this person has worked on themselves, or something else has happened. Or, in your families, you see that also often, right? Because people don't want to necessarily cut ties, but nothing, your auntie or your dad or your brother,
and
they have not
they
changed.
tend to say, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Live with it.
Live with it. It's very hard to heal when you still expect something from that relationship at that point. If it can be a relationship where those expectations are no longer there, maybe it's okay for you to stay. But if you're still expecting this to be your loving wife or husband, but they've done nothing to change the relationship or to change themselves, it's going to be very hard.
Yeah.
Because you're going to keep being disappointed. So it's important to see, is anything changing? That might also help your healing. So if you're still in the same space with somebody and you're still interacting in the same way, but you're trying to move on, it might be harder. I'm not, nothing is impossible,
but it will just be slightly more difficult.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And do you want that? Do you want it to make it more difficult for yourself, or do you want to? You don't want to be stuck there. Yeah. So you want to heal. You want to move on. Try to see what you can do to maybe remove yourself from those spaces.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go through just 3 pairs of things in terms of mindset that we have around managing and handling betrayal.
Yeah.
One is loss versus rescued. What mindset should we actually have when it comes to, I don't want to call it moving on, but just the next steps that you take? Should I feel I have lost something, or have I been rescued from something? Yeah.
Probably both. Probably both. Because you have also lost something. And sometimes we don't take enough time to grieve it. Because people will be like, oh, you dodged a bullet. Well, no, I actually lived with that bullet for 5 years. I didn't quite dodge it. Or, I thought we were doing something together. So
you've lost it.
Yeah, you're better off without. True, that all might be true. And that's very, well-intentioned, and that's all okay. But meanwhile, I have lost something that I invested my heart in, or my money, or my whatever, and I've lost it. And I'm allowed to grieve the loss, even if it wasn't what I thought it was. If the person was actually different, I have lost that dream, or I have lost that future, or I have lost a piece of myself, or so you're allowed. So it's both loss. Grief is an important part of
this journey.
So it's okay to take time. And then, but that comes later, where maybe you see, now I'm at a place, now I'm doing things with my life that probably wouldn't have happened
if this had not happened.
So I would have stayed there.
So it's not loss versus rescued, it is loss and rescued. Yeah. Okay. Peace versus property. What should we be fighting for?
It's of course also again personal, right? So I wouldn't tell you have to do this or you have to do that. Depends on what is important for you. People might be telling you, no, choose peace. Don't worry about fighting for this, but this, all your money might be in it, and without it, you might be worse off. So depending, peace of mind will give you, a lot. Your nervous system might not be so reacting. You might be able to now make space for other things in your life, because healing from betrayal cost a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So now that energy frees up for other things. But not necessarily. You can also be in a place where you're like, no, this is rightfully mine, and I'm going to fight for this. Yeah. And maybe you then also achieve it, right? So it depends a bit on the kind of person you are as well, and how important this property is for you, or how important peace is for you. Again, there might be at one point, the balance might also change. You might start with the property, and at one point you're like, oh, you know what?
I want peace.
This is not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you continuously check in with yourself and notice where is fighting for the property really affecting now my mental health.
Yeah.
And do I want to continue this, or am I going to rebuild that way?
Okay.
Yeah.
The last one, getting fooled versus staying fooled. Which should concern us when we are venturing back into relationships?
Getting fooled or staying fooled.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we mentioned you will never be 100% betrayal proof because you cannot control other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But realizing that you can't control other people, and maybe also realizing where you've betrayed yourself and making that a priority, that to not betray yourself, to not fool yourself. I think that's important. But you will also enter new relationships. And it doesn't even have to be, if it happened in a romantic relationship, even your professional relationship, even your friendships, you're entering differently. But you want to enter more wholesome. So you don't want to enter with all this resentment, with all this bitterness, with all this being on guard, but you're going to listen to your gut more. You're staying closer to yourself. You're like, this works for me, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So you're no longer fooling yourself. Yeah.
Okay. So almost don't be afraid of getting fooled, but understand that you're getting in with more knowledge and more experience to avoid as much of the fooling as you can.
Yeah, or also to handle it better.
Yeah.
Because maybe the first one was a massive shock. And if it happens somewhere else, you're like, okay, now I know this is not about me. Because the first one, your whole self, or not the first one, the heavy one, your self-doubt, like your self-esteem, everything shattered.
Yeah.
For the second time, but maybe in a different situation, you don't let it shatter you as much. So you deal with it because you're more whole and complete. And so you deal with these things different. You can see them for what they are. Like, this is someone else, dealing with whatever
they're dealing with.
they're doing. This is not about me.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Of course, it can still hurt, but it's slightly different. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ingrid.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this has helped you get to a place where you can actually handle the betrayal that you didn't know was coming, handle the betrayal that you can't quite dodge all the time. And I think one of the key takeaways I have is you must understand that you have lost something. You have lost a relationship. You have lost a life that you lived. You have lost beliefs that you had in yourself. Give yourself permission to grieve before you get to the place where you're saying, I need to recover from this. Well, that is true. Don't hurry up and do it immediately. And there is help available. Yeah, Ingrid is a post-betrayal coach, right?
Post-betrayal transformation, because it can transform you.
It's about transformation. So it's about post-betrayal transformation. And so not just Ingrid, there is help that you can get out there. Seek the support you need. All right. Now, Ingrid, one of the things that we do just to have fun and get to the place where, we can have conversations is spin the wheel. And this is almost like getting into a relationship. You don't know where you're going to land.
I don't want to land on the singer.
You don't want to land on the singer.
I don't think your listeners want me to land on the singer.
Okay, maybe we'll mute this and then you sing for us. However, spin it and you will pick whatever the corresponding card is. Okay. If not now, when? You can shuffle those and pick one.
Okay. I love it though, because it's very appropriate to the discussion we had.
Yeah.
If not now, when? How much longer are you going to carry this with you? How much longer are you going to let other people's actions influence your career, your finances, your happiness, your joy, your future. So
if not
now, when?
What does that say?
Anyway, what my card says, if not now, when? What do you do in your free time? I've just told you. I love going outdoors.
Yeah.
The
outdoors.
Love nature. I love being in nature. I love outdoor activities. Cycling, hiking.
Yes. Yeah. I actually cannot get over how much cycling you do.
I can tell you what I'm doing tomorrow, but by the time this has aired, who knows what else I'm doing?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's amazing. Now, here's what happens. If we had covered your question in the conversation, you get to spin again.
Okay.
So you get to spin again.
It really wants me to sing. Huh?
Sing it. Oh, a family tradition.
Oh my.
Here you go.
I haven't seen this. Okay. Just pick the top one. Imagine you were a grandparent. Gosh. What would be your favorite story to tell your 10-year-old grandchild about when you were their age? Wow.
We want to meet 10-year-old Ingrid.
Yes. Well, I don't know if my love for outdoors comes from this, but we were sent outside to play outside a lot. And of course, where I'm from, the weather doesn't always
Where
allow.
did you grow up?
In the Netherlands.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the weather doesn't always allow that.
No, it can be rainy. But if it wasn't rainy, if it was cold, you just put on warm clothes and play outside. And we did that a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there a story that you would tell?
I think what we once did, I don't know if I was exactly 10, but it was with a really fun friend of mine. And we had some trees in the garden and we used to climb those trees and what, but this time we took it to the next level and we decided to make a jungle.
Okay.
And how we did that, because we were 10, we took a lot of wool and we spun that wool from one tree to the next as if they were, what are those things?
The branches called? And creepers.
That you can swing from one to the. Of course, you can't swing on wool at all.
In Jungle Book, or what was his name? Yeah. Anyway, Tarzan and whoever. Yeah.
The Jungle Book person. So we had wool all over from one tree to the other tree to the swing to the I don't know what.
Serious monkey business.
Yeah, proper monkey business. I think. I don't know how happy my mom was with us wasting the wool.
Was that hers? Okay.
And the wool being in trees for months after. But we had a lot of fun playing jungle that day.
Okay.
I think, I don't know, the grandchild, if they're behind screens a lot, I would also
kick them out.
Fantastic. Send them outside.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for being a good sport, for giving us the tips. It has really, really been helpful. And like we said, we're going to have another conversation on why we lie. Yes.
Okay,
looking forward to many more. Thank you again for staying with us. Have a lovely one.
Thank you so much.